You had those study sessions where your brain feels overloaded even though you barely got through a single chapter. You reread the same paragraph 3 times, jump between tabs, and still can't remember what you just learned. I've also been there. I'm a fourth year medical student, and for years I've been testing evidence-based methods to learn effectively in less time. By using those methods, I was able to go from almost failing to doing extremely well by studying about 80% less time than other students. When your brain's carrying the wrong kind of load, it doesn't matter how long you study, you won't retain anything. In this video, I'll break down the 3 types of cognitive load and show you exactly how to reduce the stuff that slows you down while boosting the load that will help you to learn faster. So you stop wasting energy on distractions, process information more clearly, and finally study fast enough that it feels borderline unfair. To understand how to study and learn fast, first you need to understand what's happening inside your brain when you're learning something new. Information from what you see, read, or hear enters your brain through different channels. The visual channel, the auditory channel, and everything else you perceive. And everything gets dumped into one tiny space, your working memory. Then you process that information and store the useful information in your long-term memory. But here's the problem. Your working memory is small, and not small like a school backpack, more like one of those drawstring bags that barely fits a water bottle. It can only hold 4 or 5 pieces of information at a time. When you overload it, you hit a wall known as cognitive overload. That's when your brain freezes. You read without understanding, memorize without retaining, and study without learning. But once you understand cognitive load, studying becomes almost unfairly easy. Everything we do next builds on one idea. You learn fast when the wrong load is low and the right load is high. And that brings us to the first type, the extraneous load. Imagine you are hiking with a backpack. Now imagine filling that backpack with a frying pan, a brick, and 3 sweaters on a hot sunny day. They don't help you to reach the top of the mountain. They just make the climb harder for no reason. That's what extraneous load is. It's the mental effort your brain wastes on things that don't help you to learn. This is the load that destroys learning speed. Extraneous load comes from distractions, switching between resources, cluttered environments, and unorganized study material. Every extra visual, sound, or decision your brain has to process eats up your working memory. You get tired faster, learn slower, and the topic feels way harder than it actually is. The good news is, extraneous load is the easiest to fix, and reducing it instantly increases your study speed. Here's how. The first thing you have to do is to reduce the environmental distractions. Study in a quiet room, use noise-cancelling headphones, use white noise to block unpredictable sounds, keep only the material you need on your desk, and turn off notifications. When your environment is simple, your brain can finally focus on learning. The second thing you have to do is to reduce the split attention effect. That happens when you are constantly switching between a YouTube video, a textbook, a PDF, a random website, and your notes. Your brain wastes energy just by locating information. Here's the fix. Combine everything into one master note. What I personally do is, I screenshot and copy parts from different resources and paste them into one resource. So when it's time for revision, I don't jump around, everything is already in one place. This alone will make your studying 10 times lighter. Now let's talk about the second type of cognitive load, the intrinsic load. The one you can't eliminate, but you can reduce. Imagine your backpack again. Not everything inside it is junk. Some items are essential. Water, a map, maybe a flashlight. You need them, but you can pack them more efficiently. This is like the intrinsic load. The intrinsic load is the mental effect required by the complexity of the material itself. Some topics are just inherently hard. The Krebs cycle, calculus problems, complex anatomy, statistical analysis. These topics don't confuse you because you're bad at them. They confuse you because your brain is trying to hold too many interconnected ideas at once. And when the topic is complex, your working memory hits its limit faster. If you try to study a difficult topic raw without preparation, your brain feels overwhelmed before you even begin. But you can reduce the intrinsic load by making the material feel simpler before you truly study it. Here's how. Step 1. Before studying a hard topic, watch a short summarized YouTube video on it. Not a lecture, not a 40-minute lesson, just a 3 to 10-minute summary. This gives your brain a mental map, the main idea, the big concepts, and the structure of the topic. When you finally study the real material, it feels familiar instead of intimidating. This is my personal go-to method. If I'm studying a topic I know nothing about, I always watch a short overview first. This alone cuts the effort needed to understand the topic in half. Step 2. Then build a quick mind map that shows the main branches of the topic, how ideas connect, and how the information flows. You are not learning deeply yet, you are building a mental outline. This reduces the intrinsic load because your brain now knows what's coming next, where it belongs, and how the whole thing fits together. Your brain loves structure. When you give it structure, learning becomes effortless. The third type of cognitive load is the Germaine load. Now for the important part, the load that actually makes you smarter. Let's go back to the backpack. Some items take up space, but even though they are heavy, they help you learn the trail. A compass, a map, trekking poles. They might add weight, but they make the hike easier and faster in the long run. This is Germaine load, the mental effort your brain uses to actually learn and form new connections. That is the good load, the load you want. The load that makes you understand deeply, remember longer, recall faster, and apply concepts easier. But here's the twist. You can't maximize Germaine load unless you first reduce the extraneous load and the intrinsic load. Once those are low, your brain has spare capacity to actually learn. And when you are maximizing Germaine load, learning becomes absurdly fast. There are few things you can do to boost the good load. First thing is by using the modality effect. Your brain has two channels, visual channel and the auditory channel. When you use both together, you distribute the load and learning accelerates. This is why short videos plus diagrams plus explanation work so well. My method is, before I learn properly, I watch a short video about the topic, get the key concepts visually and verbally, then I dive into the real material. This primes my brain and makes everything stick faster. Next thing you can do is to use active recall. After reading a section, stop. Now try to explain it like you are talking to a younger sibling, a classmate, or even future you. No notes, no reading, just explain the main idea from the memory. This is active recall, and it is one of the most powerful learning tools ever studied. It forces your brain to recognize information, simplify concepts, connect ideas, and retrieve them. This will help you to remember the information for a long time. This is pure Germaine load, the load that builds understanding. And when you repeatedly explain concepts simply, study becomes stupidly fast. You now know the three types of cognitive load and how to control them. Now, let's combine them into a step-by-step system you can start to use from the next study session to learn so fast it feels illegal. This is the exact method I use as a medical student to study faster with less fatigue. Step 1. To reduce extraneous load, remove all distractions. Before you start, clean your desk, use noise-cancelling headphones, open only the material you need, silence notifications. Now your mental backpack is lighter. Step 2. To reduce intrinsic load, create a mental outline before study. Watch a 3 to 10 minute summary video and build a mind map before properly studying. This gives your brain a blueprint. Step 3. Learn the material using both visual and auditory channels to boost the Germaine load. Use short videos, diagrams, voice notes, animations. That way you are distributing the load across multiple channels. Step 4. Use active recall to maximize the Germaine load. After each small section, close your notes. Explain the idea in simple language. Pretend you are teaching someone. This cements understanding and builds long-term memory incredibly fast. Step 5. Create a one master resource. Combine all the important things into a one note and create a master note. This will help you a lot during revision because you don't need to jump between multiple resources again. This is how you learn fast, but you can use a different method to build a deeper understanding about anything you learn. Combining that with the methods I told you in this video, you will be unstoppable. Watch this video next to learn about that method.